Hello guys, Crispy and welcome back to another video. In this one, my friends, I'm gonna be testing the GeForce RTX 4080 16GB GPU in Forsbroken. Yep. I mean, we might as well call it Forsbroken instead of Forspoken, right? So as usual, we're using the Founders Edition model of the RTX 4080, and I'm not manually overclocking it. We're also using the latest Nvidia drivers, and you can check out all of the GPU specs right here in Tech Power-Up's GPU Z. Rebar is enabled, by the way, and we're pairing it today with an i5 13600K and 32GB of DDR5, 6000 MHz. Let's go. First, let's go for the settings, guys. I'm playing at 4K resolution, because, you know, 4080, it does pretty well at 4K. Pretty much everything aside from this game, and 120 FPS lock because, well, this game is a console port. It doesn't really have unlimited FPS options. And over on the graphics settings, I set it to the ultra high settings preset, and then I disabled FSR, which came on by default on quality, as well as motion blur. Alright, so if you don't know, this GPU is actually the required GPU in the system requirements for the ultra setting. So that's 4K at ultra and 60 FPS. Well, I don't say it's at ultra, but the preset is ultra, so there's minimum recommended and ultra, so I suspect it's ultra, right? But no, this doesn't really feel like a very ultra experience whatsoever. It is dropping into the 40s in this area, which has a few trees around, as you know, so it drops FPS by a little bit. And I'm just gonna do this, smash some buttons, try to do something. Oh yes, tons of effects right now, dropping into the 30s. Also, Ray Tracing is enabled, of course, using these settings. That's also why we're getting so low FPS. But if the game was well optimized, well, I believe a 4080 would be capable of achieving 30 plus. You know, even 60 plus. What are we talking about? This is a $1,200 MSRP GPU that retails for much higher than that. And it can't play a freaking game that looks like, what? A game from 2015 or something like that. Like, this doesn't look very impressive whatsoever. You know, if I look at the ground, the textures, well, they're pretty, yes. It's using 12GB of VRAM, so it's not saturating our 16 gigs on this card. And at least the game doesn't stutter, you know. In that regard, it differs a little bit from modern titles, but the performance is just so freaking poor. I did not expect this. I feel like before everybody knew about the system requirements, which are completely ridiculous of this game, as well as like the poor performance and poor optimization, you'd think that a game with graphics like these, sometimes it does look good, you know, but other times it's terrible. You'd probably think that a 2060, maybe like a 3060 or something like that, would be capable of running it at these FPS and 4K resolution. But that is definitely not the case. You need one of the best GPUs out there. Like a 4080 is 30% faster or so than a 3090 Ti. Let that sink in. The 4090 is 30% faster than this, so it can actually get 60 FPS, but apparently if you want 60 plus FPS in this game with drops, because I've seen some of you commenting in my previous videos saying that even the 4090 drops from 60 FPS. Anyways, what I'm gonna do now is use DLSS, because that's what every game developer relies on these days. Upscaling technologies to make things playable instead of optimizing things. So here we go. DLSS quality. I can tell it looks a little bit softer, actually, on my 4K monitor. It does give us way higher FPS, so I would definitely choose to play like this if you want to buy this game. Also, I'm running the demo here, which some people say it's running the same as the normal version. Other people say it's a little bit less intensive. I mean, there are different areas and stuff, so it might be a little bit less intensive overall. But once you do these effects and stuff, it should not really differ too much. Like, worst case scenario, it should be pretty similar between the demo and the other version. Anyways, as you can see now, instead of dropping into the lower 30s, we are getting 50s with DLSS at 4K with a 4080. 50s. I mean, 50 is better than 30, so I'll give them that. At least it's playable. At least you can have fun here with your $1,200 plus GPU. Yay, right? I mean, if you pay this much for a GPU, for one of the best cards out there, again, you just want things to work, like, flawlessly. Well, a little stutter right there. That's the first one that I've ever seen in this game. But yeah, it doesn't really work that flawlessly here, at least with DLSS on quality. And by the way, something I noticed already is that her hair, even at 4K resolution, native with the anti-aliasing, not DLSS, it looks super pixelated. And here with DLSS, it also looks a bit fuzzy and pixelated as well, a little bit softer, so that kind of disguises the fuzziness a bit. I am also very much not impressed about the quality of this game in some areas, you know? Like, some of the textures also don't look anything special, like these textures. But hey, at least these rocks right here look pretty decent, so there's that. Oh yeah, and if you're wondering, I didn't test the 3060 Ti for a video while recording, you know, so I still don't have a video on that GPU, but I will have it, alright? I just tested it for like half an hour, trying different settings and resolutions and stuff, seeing how different settings affect the FPS and so on. I'm gonna stop it there. 71 FPS average, it drops in worst case scenarios, basically. At least doesn't stutter. Let's try it on balanced. I really didn't want to do this, but in a lot of games, balanced DLSS at 4K looks super similar to quality DLSS. And once again, we're seeing a good bump up in performance, and it shouldn't drop anymore from 60 frames per second, I hope. It is slightly softer, though, than quality DLSS, that's for sure. Alright, wait. Let's use this. Let's use this. There we go. Nice. Will it drop from 60? Getting close to the things there. Yeah, 58. That's not a problem, though, if it drops to, like, 58, like the higher 50s. It's fine. Not fine for such an expensive GPU, but it's fine. And such an expensive game, you know? I'm just talking about the GPU pricing here today. Because usually it's the GPU's fault if it sucks, right? But today, it's actually the game's fault. Because usually it's the GPU's fault if it doesn't really meet a certain expectation and it costs like more than $1,000. But today, it's actually the game's fault. This is terrible. It's terribly optimized, man. And to top it off, it's not a free-to-play title. It's not... What just happened, dude? Are you serious? Of course! Oh, this is perfect. This is absolutely fantastic, my friends. Well, we were done with balanced DLSS anyways, but as I was saying, this is not a free-to-play title. It's not a €30 title or $30 title. It's not 60. This is actually 80 euros here in Portugal, at least, and in Europe in general, I think. So yeah, 80 freaking euros for the base game. And it does this. Wow. Let's get rid of DLSS now, guys, and I want to try it at native 4K without Ray Tracing here. And I do not need to restart the game for these settings to apply, but since we are here, well, I might as well. It barely moved, dude. Like, the graphics look basically the same, I think. Maybe there's less shiny objects on screen, like the grass is a little bit less shiny, as well as the ground and stuff. But that's it. And the FPS are almost the same. Honestly, I expected to disable Ray Tracing, and it being a completely different experience. But no, not even disabling Ray Tracing will save it. For the 4080, dude. The 4080! What the hell, man? As you can see, those are disabled there. Why are games so unoptimized these days? I mean, it's getting like 50s here instead of 40s, basically. And let me find some enemies around here. That would be nice. So there we go. We got a little guy over here. And let's throw this out. Yeah, okay. 40, 39, 37, 36. Still drops into the 30s. Not lower 30s, but it's still 30s. So we still need DLSS, because laziness of the developers. Yep, there we go. DLSS still dropping with DLSS on quality there. All right, can I use the thing again? No, I cannot. We gotta change the attack. Wait. Come on, there we go. That's a beautiful one anyway. All right, here we go. I think we got the other, well, like, circle of fire thing. Yeah, there we go. There we go. 60s there with DLSS quality. I want to check it out again, you know, because previously it could be applying or something. Okay, there it is. Let's get near the fire effect. 63. Didn't really drop this time. Maybe because we weren't in the forest area. Again, circle of fire around us. Dropping into the higher 50s, yeah. Oh my god, dropping into the 40s. Oh gosh, why, man? Why does this game suck so much? I mean, it is still playable, don't get me wrong. It's just that for a 4080, I expected way better things. And it's so intensive. And it also doesn't look anything special, you know? If it did look completely amazing, like Cyberpunk or something with ray tracing and all of those lights and effects and stuff, but this is like kind of flat looking, honestly. And it runs terrible. Next up, let's re-enable RT here. All right, disable the DLSS. There we go. And I will play it at 1440p resolution. Okay, 2560 by 1440 using same highest settings without DLSS and with ray tracing. And at 1440p, this is good for 80 FPS. Again, if you showed me this game's footage like this, with these graphics, and you told me that these are ultra settings graphics, first of all, I wouldn't believe you on a 2023 title. And second, I would think that it was like, what, a 3050 or something running this game at these FPS and settings. But no, it's not a 3050. This is a 4080 at 1440p resolution. For reference, Call of Duty Warzone 2, which is not the greatest optimized title either, you know? And it's really, really intensive. It runs at like 150 FPS, close to 200 actually sometimes, at 1440p ultra settings. 80 on average, without any effects on screen, you know, any demanding ones at least. If I use that thing again, let's just go near these NPCs right here and do this. There we go. Yeah, it drops into the 60s. Will it drop from 60, guys? Will it drop from 60? Let's see. Oh, 58 there. All right. I got nothing else to say, my friends. You need DLSS if you want to get 1440p on a 4080 with ray tracing enabled. And at this point, without ray tracing enabled probably as well, because there's not a major difference anyway. The beauty of modern gaming. Max settings, quality DLSS, 1440p res. There we go, now we're in the 100s. Now it won't drop, finally! We can play this game at 60 plus FPS all of the time. And you know what? Compare these graphics to Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. There's no comparison, and that game was actually getting higher FPS than this. Very similar, actually, like around 90 on average or so. Oh no, that was on the 4070 Ti, actually. Just forget about that. Yeah, that was a 4070 Ti. Red Dead Redemption 2 was running at higher FPS than this, while completely maxed out. Yes, that game doesn't have ray tracing, but it doesn't need to have ray tracing to look absolutely fantastic and gorgeous and beautiful. And yeah, it was super buttery smooth, basically. I should test Red Dead Redemption 2 instead of this crap, actually. Alright, guys. Should we test 1080p? Is the 4080 a 1080p GPU after all? Well, let's find out. 1080p with no DLSS and the highest settings. Oh, we're getting around the same FPS as 1440p with DLSS, I think. The 1% lows are already below 60, but I didn't really see it dropping from 60. However, we are not in an intensive part of the game, so I'm gonna go ahead towards the forest and test it out again there, and maybe it will drop. If it drops from 60 FPS at 1080p resolution with a 4080 without DLSS, native res, I'll just end the video. Alright, here we are dropping from 100 frames per second in this area with some enemies. Let's go! This is it! This is the ultimate test now. It seems to be dropping a little bit less than previously, so I guess, yeah, it can get 60 plus FPS 100% of the time at 1080p. That's been it, my friends. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Catch you in the next one very soon, which will probably be another Forspoken video. Let's just continue with the disappointment, shall we? Love you all. Bye-bye.